And welcome to the Medford High School primary debate.
Let's introduce our candidates. Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Senator Bernie Sanders. Secretary Hillary Clinton. Mr. Donald Trump. Senator Marco Rubio.
Senator Ted Cruz. Governor John Kasich. Dr. Ben Carson. And Governor Jeb Bush. Now let's introduce our moderators, Mr. Sharma and Miss Augie.
Thank you, Wendy and Justin. We'll begin today with an opening statement from each candidate. Secretary Clinton, you're up first. Good morning, Medford High School. My name is Hillary Clinton. I have served you for many years as a lawyer, senator, first lady, and secretary of state. We have for you today radicals, clowns, and impossible idealists. But I am here as the most experienced, most progressive candidate who still gets things done. Thank you for having me, and let the games begin.
Thank you, Secretary Clinton. Mr. Trump, your opening statement.
Good morning, Medford High School. My name is Trump. I stand up here today with politicians who simply don't understand what Americans want. I understand what it is Americans want, and that's why today, when you decide to elect me your next president, I will make America great again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. Senator Sanders, your opening statement.
When we look out at the country today, infrastructure, a shrinking middle class, and the top 10 of the top 1% controls us by the vote, and the vote records are the families. When I become president, I will not stand for myself. I will not stand for Goldman Sachs. I will stand for the American people to create a future to believe in. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Senator Marco Rubio, your opening statement, please.
Around the world, America's influence has declined, but this president has destroyed our military. Our allies no longer trust us, and our adversaries no longer respect us. That is why I'm running for president. We need a president who understands America's the greatest country in the world, who acts like America's the greatest country in the world. Help me usher in a new American century. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Rubio. Mayor Michael Bloomberg, your opening statement.
It's good to be home. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Bloomberg, three-term mayor of New York City, CEO and founder of Bloomberg Inc. And now, most importantly of all, I went to this high school. I sat in those seats. I walked in these halls, and I know how it feels to make an important decision like many of you will this coming November. This race is being led by radicals. Some are giant babies pretending to be businessmen. He's a disgrace. You're a disgrace. Some call themselves revolutionaries who drive this country into the ground. I am a moderate, social, progressive, and fiscal conservative that this country needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Medford, for having me. My experience as Congressman and Governor of Ohio has
shown me that America needs a leader with a positive, yes, positive message, and a proven record of balancing budgets while supporting education, innovation, and job creation. So I humbly ask that when you check off the ballot, the name be John Kasich. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Kasich. Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz, your opening statement.
It's so good to be here this morning. Over the past 30 years, we have seen America deteriorate. Washington, the center of all of this corruption. As president, I plan to bring America back to its foundation using the Constitution and the Bible. I am more qualified than any of these candidates up here today because I have served as a Supreme Court law clerk, a senator for the state of Texas, and most importantly, I have a history of standing up to liberals. As president, I am not afraid to do so. Thank you.
Dr. Matt Martin, your opening statement.
People say I cannot become president because I'm not a politician. I say I can't become president because I'm not a politician. Politicians do what is politically expedient, and I'd rather do what's right. I do not have political experience. I have a life journey. I didn't go to MC cocktail parties or beg lobbies for money. I spent my nights in a room trying to save the life of a child. This is my life experience of caring, honesty, and integrity. If all you want is a president with political experience and the personal traits of being a politician, then I'm not your candidate. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carson. And for the last opening statement, Governor Jeb Bush.
Good morning, Mayor. Today I stand before you after 7 years of failed Obama and Clinton policies. We need real change, and that change isn't going to come from this clown.
He's a joke.
I have real conservative solutions, and that is why I'm asking for your vote today. Thank you.
We now have to begin our first round of questioning. Secretary Clinton, you're up first. There is general consensus that you are the most knowledgeable candidate regarding the American military. What issues keep you up at night, and what would you do to make Americans feel safer?
I am constantly thinking about the safety and security of the American people. I have often said that the most stressful half hour of my entire life was the time that I spent in the Situation Room with President Obama hunting down Osama bin Laden. And we succeeded. We killed him, but I will tell you, it was not the job for the inexperienced or the underdog. Now, my time as Secretary of State has been infinitely rewarding. My treaty with Iran not only prevented them from acquiring a nuclear bomb, but gave you $2 a gallon of gas. So what I will do as President of the United States to make Americans safer is exactly what I have already done and what I will continue to do. Thank you. Thank you, Secretary Clinton. Our next question is for Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, outline two specific, I repeat, specific policies that will implement and give reason for the young people before you to vote for you.
Well, let's be honest. If there's anyone here who can create jobs, you're looking at them. I'm a businessman, an entrepreneur, and young people that come to my rallies, they bring their resumes because they know Donald Trump, he's the man for the job. These politicians don't know that. I'll be here, I'll assemble a team of the best and the brightest, and that's just what we'll do. In reference to immigration, we're going to build a wall, and trust me, it's going to be huge. We want to keep the immigrants out. Crime's going to go down. Forget the rape, the drugs, and this is going to benefit the millennials. Why do I think I deserve your vote? Because I act like a president who listens to Americans, not some politically expedient, out-of-town politician. Thank you. Regarding the problems at Master High School, what should they be burdened about?
Well,
next 4 or 5 years, we'll be going off to college. And currently in America, college is the most expensive it has ever been. This is not the way that we remain a competitive economy on the global stage. To alleviate this issue, we will provide 2 free years of public education at state universities to all Americans. Furthermore, we must make the minimum wage a living wage. When young people, when poor people get money, they spend it. When the rich get tax cuts, when Goldman Sachs gets preferential treatment by the government, they don't need another housing balance, they don't need another dock hire, they don't need another further Lamborghinis. It is the poor, and it is the young who take this money and spend it and put it back into our economy and create more jobs and create growth. This is what we need to do to create a future that we can believe in. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Our next question is for Senator Rubio. Regarding immigration, what is your path to citizenship, and how does it differ from your opponents?
Now, thanks for bringing that up. Immigration is an important issue, but what we have to do is we have to implement the rules that we have now first. You know, the American people don't trust us to come up with new rules because we don't follow the ones we have now. We have to finish the border. We have to implement e-verify. We need to make sure people aren't overstaying their visas. And after we implement the rules we already have, we should listen to the American people and to our beliefs. I listen to my Catholic faith. We need to listen to those things to come up with a real plan. You know, my opponents, they want to wrap it up and throw it over a big wall we're going to build. That's not a sustainable plan. We need to listen to our beliefs and we need to listen to the people of our country to come up with a real plan. Thank you.
Next question is for Mayor Michael Bloomberg.
Mr. Bloomberg, Mayor. Thank you.
Welcome back to your graduated high school. Once a Mustang, always a Mustang. What will need to occur for you to decide to run for president, and why would you make such a good president?
Well, Mr. Sherman, I think it's clear to see that this election is unlike any other in American history. Traditionally, the parties have elected moderates. Politicians who can fare well in Washington, D.C., and politicians who can get things done. As of right now, this race is being led by the radicals, who will drive this country into an economic recession, who will make a joke of the greatest country in the world. I'm a more moderate candidate. I'm a social progressive, fiscally conservative. I can get things done. My experience as mayor of New York City and CEO of Bloomberg LP only proves that I'm the man for the job. If there is any question to that sort of thing, I promise you, check my resume. I have $40 billion backing me, and I have 2 actual positions that I think encourage you to vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bloomberg. Our next question is for Senator Cruz. Senator Cruz, you have aggressively sought the evangelical vote and say that you are a self-professed Christian. Yet you have advocated for carpet bombing. How does that make any sense?
Well, that's a wonderful question. Now, do you know what keeps me up at night this autumn? It's the people, the Americans, who are getting harmed by foreign influences. Now, as a senator, it is my job to protect the American people, and I have a long history of doing that. As president, I plan to protect you to the best of my ability, because that is what is on the front of my mind. Now, President Obama has made it unable to wage wars, but these wars need to be waged, because there are some people who don't believe that America is the greatest country on earth. That is what I believe, and I plan to protect you as president. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have supported removing regulations on electrical power plants, letting them discharge 32% more pollutants. You support the Keystone Pipeline. You would pretty much override every Obama environmental policy. Who is right, you or Obama?
Well, I believe that God blessed this nation with excellent natural resources, and that man has the responsibility, the moral responsibility to protect the environment. However, I disagree with the President's approach. You need to keep everything in balance, and you need to realize that the environment is not an issue that stands alone. Everything is tied together. And when you pull out one card out of the house of cards, the whole thing collapses. And you need to keep in check the economy and keep the balance the budget. but we've preciously taken care of Lake Erie in Ohio. We've reduced emissions by 30% over the last 10 years, and we've promoted renewable energy. So of course it's a sensitive issue, and we need to protect the environment. But like what Obama's doing, we should not be over-regulating businesses to the point that it weakens our economy and ruins jobs and puts us in a worse position, because if we do that, we will most definitely not be in any position to tackle our environmental problems.
Thank you, Governor Keeson. Our next question is for Dr. Ben Carson. Do you think that there should be a figurative wall between church and state? Why or why not? What is your perspective on same-sex marriage, for example?
I do not think that there should be a wall between the church and state. We cannot give away our beliefs in an attempt to be politically correct. Our founding document, the Declaration of Independence, states that we have certain unalienable rights given to us by our Creator. Our pledge states that we are one nation under God. Every coin and every bill is inscribed with the words, "In God we trust." It is in our pledge, our founding document, our currency, and we're not allowed to talk about it. I find this concept of separation even harder to comprehend. Regarding my beliefs on same-sex marriage, I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. No group should be allowed to change this definition. By allowing other groups to redefine this definition, other groups will emerge, and it will lead to a disastrous ending. Thank you.
Our last question is for Governor Jeb Bush. How similar would you follow the policies of your older brother? 10 years later, Afghanistan and Iraq are a mess, and that mess has expanded. In 2008, at the end of your brother's administration, the American economy was driven into the Great Recession. Why should we want more bullets?
Well, I'm not running for my brother. I'm running for myself. And I have a proven conservative record in Florida. I've cut taxes every single year, 1.7 million new jobs. And I balanced the budget 8 times. What we've seen with our president is a deteriorating stance in our foreign policy. Our foreign policy is a mess right now. With my brother, there was no ISIS. My brother kept us safe, and that's what's most important to the American people. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, pick up your challenge flags.
That concludes our first round of questions. We will now begin our second round of questions. In this round, we are introducing challenge flags. Each candidate has the opportunity to challenge what a candidate has been saying. They will be given 20 seconds to state their challenge, and then the person who has been speaking has 20 seconds to rebut that challenge. Our first question is for Senator Clinton. Secretary Clinton, is there Clinton fatigue? What do you have to offer as President of the United States? Thank you, Ms. Osmond.
Actually, I would say that there is Clinton nostalgia. See, the Clinton administration was the last time in recent history that we had a surplus budget. We had the highest approval rating since Eisenhower. Today, with the deficit we have acquired today, we can afford to send every student to college for free. My new college compact would slash student debt and make tuition-free college for all of you. Now, I am not a caricature, unlike the other people on this stage. Mr. Trump, you claim to make... Mr. Trump, you claim to make America great again with walls, discrimination, and inexcusable hatred. But my plan for America relies on something different. It relies on investing in our youth and a clean future. Thank you.
It seems like we have 2 challenges thrown on this question. The first is by Mr. Donald Trump. Mr. Trump?
Well, I think it's time to be realistic, and Secretary, you're making false claims. And you need to understand that she's deceitful, she's a liar, and she won't tell the truth to the American people. I'm a straight talker, and that's why I think that I'm someone that can actually represent you as your President of the United States of America.
Mr. Trump, you call me deceitful, although when you look all of those claims, while you yourself call yourself a businessman, although you have been bankrupt 4 times.
That's enough, candidates. The second challenge flag was a formal question by Senator Sanders. Senator Sanders?
In 2003, you voted to invade Iraq, which resulted in thousands of deaths of young Americans like those in front of us, and lining the pockets of the military industrial complex with $2 trillion. How can you guarantee that even with your experience you want to do the same when you advocate for regime change in Syria and supporting Al-Qaeda affiliates there?
Thank you. Well, I will admit the first time I did vote for Iraq, but all the other times, as soon as I saw where it was going, I said no. However, you, as you claim to be sane ones, voted against the break bill all 5 times and voted with the NRA to give felons the special preference over others. I do not think that you're saving any American lives, Mr. Sanders.
Let's move on to our next question, which is directed towards Senator Rubio. Can you describe your political successes? Why should we look to you, Madam President?
Now, I've had plenty of experience in the U.S. Senate, and before that, in the Florida State Legislature, where I served as Speaker of the House. But let me just say, U.S. politics and the U.S. presidency becomes about electing the person with the most experience. You know, Mr. McConnell, Joe Biden, they've been around thousands of years and passed billion bills. No one wants them to be president of the United States. And let me just say, another first-term senator, Barack Obama, he knows exactly what he's doing in office. He's trying to make the United States more like the rest of the world. He knows exactly what he's doing, and we can't stand for it, you know. The presidency in politics is about more experience, and President Obama has proven that. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Rubio. Our next question is for Mayor Bloomberg. Mayor Bloomberg, crime did go down while you were mayor of New York City, but there is concern about your stop and frisk policy of targeting black young males. Is that policy justified?
Thank you for that question, Ms. Osmond, and I do believe the racial justice is a very important issue in today's world. And I would like to make it known that in 2004, I did put a law in New York City banning racial discrimination in NYPD. That said, I think it's a very important issue to acknowledge the fact the United States is no longer the same place we once knew it to be. Crime did go down when I was mayor of New York City, and it was at its lowest during that time. But I'd like to say that it is so important that we keep our cities and our towns and our people safe. I don't care whether it's Boston, Brooklyn, Missouri, California, the entire state. I don't care. We need to make sure we keep weapons out of the hands of those who are going to use them for bad. There are 1.6 million people on the island of Manhattan. 1.6 million people on that tiny little island. And it is so important that we can keep each and every one of those individuals safe. They need to know they can wake up in the morning and go to bed at night. And that is the way it is going to be. We are going to give our officers the tools and the legislation they need to do their jobs properly and keep people that are killing our people and ruining Americans.
Check the time. Check the time.
Whose time? How much the country needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bloomberg. The next question is to Governor John Casey. As Governor of Ohio, you turned down federal funds to build a high-speed railroad between Cincinnati and Cleveland. If president, would you reject all transportation infrastructure? Where would you draw the line?
No, I would not reject all transportation infrastructure. That's silly. We need infrastructure, but I would reject the ones like this one, which were simply taxpayer dollars being wasted on a program that was inefficient. By the way, I want to mention that I don't consider 39 miles an hour to be high speeds. Our existing highways run faster than that. But in terms of overall infrastructure, yes, we need to be supporting infrastructure, but we also need to be keeping the balance of the budget in check. We need to be making sure that we're not weakening the economy and destroying jobs by wasting taxpayer budgets. And the federal government, like in this program, they didn't give us the flexibility to handle the situation the way we wanted. So no, of course we didn't want it. We told them, don't waste the money, go save it, use it somewhere where it'll be actually helpful to people. So that's what we did, and that's what I'll continue to do. Balance the budget and make sure that these programs will boost the economy, improve jobs, and help the American people. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Casey. question is for Senator Sanders. Senator Sanders, your supporters are often very enthusiastic young people. As we know, President Obama does not get one Republican vote for the Affordable Care Act in a Democratic-controlled Congress. If you become president, you will probably inherit a Congress controlled by Republicans. How would you get any of your ideas into policy?
If the American people elect me, they are saying to the world and to everyone on this stage that they support a political revolution. I would take this mandate that they give me and use this to push what they are saying that they want. Furthermore, when I was in Congress for many, many years in a Republican-controlled Congress, I passed the most amendments of anyone there, any representative from either party. This shows that I know how to get things done in Congress. I can work across the aisle. People know me, I know them. Furthermore, I do not pick money from Goldman Sachs. I am not a representative of Goldman Sachs. Shall we? Keep going. I am not fighting for myself either. I am fighting for you, the American people. If you say that you want me and my policies, they will get done. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. The council is this question by Secretary Clinton. Secretary Clinton?
Mr. Sanders, it seems you have an issue with me and my policies. But I'm a politician and I get things done. What will you do? What will you tell the American people when you are a president of the United States who cannot pass anything and cannot take the economic action you say that you will?
Secretary Clinton, I realize that you have many years of experience in office. But looking at your colleague, President Obama, formerly your boss, and seeing how much progress he's making with all the Republicans in Congress now, how do you think you're going to be doing anything different? Why do you think that when they've known you and have railed against you for many, many years, both when you were not even in elected office, and now, why do you think that it will suddenly change when you're elected? President, thank you.
Wow, you're really loving me, chat.
You have stood in the back of many great scientists and doctors. Regarding climate change, however, you deny its existence and say the overwhelming majority of scientists are wrong. Why the difference, and are there any other areas of science that you reject?
The media tends to twist my beliefs on climate change, so I'll tell you what I truly believe in. The majority of scientists believe in climate change, and of course there is climate change. At any point in life, temperatures will vary by going up and down. When these changes stop happening, then we have a problem. As humans, we must focus on our obligation to take care of the earth, so we may pass it on to our children and our grandchildren. There is no reason that this should be a political issue. Regarding my projection on the theory of evolution, I do believe in natural selection, but I believe that God gave living things the ability to adapt to the environment, so that he wouldn't have to start over every 100 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carson. Our next question is for Senator Cruz. Senator Cruz, there are quite a few gay people in this audience. Can you explain to them why they should not have the right to marry?
Well, I think that's a wonderful question. Now, let me tell you what I believe. I believe that marriage, the family unit is the most important thing that we have in America. We're the most valuable. This is where each of our citizens begin their life, learn their morals, learn what they believe. Now, I believe that the preservation of traditional marriage is probably one of the most important things for us today. Thank you.
Dr. Ben Carson, a good friend of mine, $10 million for his challenge flag. Could we please, what would you say, Dr.?
$15 million.
Do I heard 40? Yes.
I think that's like the whole on this for Jeb Bush. He's gonna say some ridiculous stuff. Okay, now that I'm ready, I've got the challenge flag and maybe thank you.
Mr. Trump, are you a bully? You have been married since something about a husband. Yet, you have been married 3 times, divorced twice, and there's a very unflattering rumors about your actions. You have also insulted Mexican and Muslim Americans. You brought onto your stage and celebrated 2 men that punched in the face members of the Black Lives Matter protest. Are you a bully?
Well, first off, I think wherever you came from, whoever sent you here, they sent you here to attack the front runner from the Republican Party. That's a fact. With that being said, I'm not a bully. I'm simply saying what the Americans want to hear. People have been thinking this stuff. I just simply put it into words. Clinton, as I said, she's deceitful. She's a liar. And I'm challenging her because she can't be the next president of the United States of America. And then when we talk about the Muslim Americans, Mexican Americans, you need to realize that what I'm saying is going to keep Americans safe. We build the wall, we keep the Muslims out, and we're going to keep American lives safe. And that's what I'm standing up here for. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Trump, you have pandered to the worst parts of this country. You have made fun of blacks, you have made fun of Muslims, you have made fun of gays, you have made fun of the Pope. And every time you use the word woman, you use the word disgusting. Now, Mr. Trump, I guarantee on election day, every member of the Ku Klux Klan is going to be voting for you.
Okay, those are bold accusations. I'd like to say, wow, I wonder if there's anyone here listening to someone who looks like they dressed up for a 4th grade mock trial. You're president, the most important candidate on the stage. You're making incredibly bad claims. You need to understand that I stand for the American people and just the American people. You, my friend, are politically expedient and you don't know what you stand for. And that is it. Give me the next challenger.
Senator Cruz.
Mr. Trump, I just have to say that you're probably the least qualified person on the stage right now.
Disrespectful.
Now, I hate to say it, I'm more qualified than you, Hillary Clinton is more qualified than you, Bernie Sanders is more qualified than you. You are not the most qualified businessman on the stage. How could you even say any of these things? It's ridiculous.
Don't be nervous, Mr. Cruz. What I'm standing up here and saying is simply what I've been saying for months. And Mr. Cruz over here, he's a joke. If you think about what he's done with my dear friend, Mr. Carson's campaign, making up lies, he makes up lies about Rubio's campaign, and yet people stand up here and think that he can represent the American people. There's no way. There's simply no way. I don't even need to address this man. He's a fool. Please bring on the next challenger.
Mr. Trump, you have declared bankruptcy 4 times. How are you going to nominally the American people right back into bankruptcy like you let every single one of those companies?
Okay, give me 5 seconds. This man right here, he's a schmuck. He can't even keep, excuse me, he can't even keep enough votes to stay in the race. Don't even dare try to challenge the front runner, trying to increase political divisions, and I'm probably going to make it harder with the general election. That's all I have to say about Mr. Bush.
I just want to say this is nonsense. We should not be fighting and bickering between ourselves. This is not about the issues. What you guys are arguing, you're fighting and calling each other names, but that's not going to solve our problems. We need to be talking about the issues and what really helps American people.
Well, I appreciate that you're here to moderate the debate. I thought that you wanted to debate. With that being said, Mr. Kasich, I'd say until about 5 minutes ago, only 1 or 2 people in this audience even knew your name. You're irrelevant. We need to focus on the people who actually have a chance, and you're looking at the person with a chance right here.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. Our last question this round is for Mr. Jeffers. You have stated that you would be a strict constitutionalist. The Constitution clearly states that in the case of a vacancy on the Supreme Court, the President submits a candidate to fill the vacancy and the Senate votes to confirm. Do you support following the Constitution in filling the vacancy caused by Justice Scalia's death?
Well, first off, Mr. Trump's idea for a replacement for Justice Scalia is his own sister. He has no idea how the political process works. Anthony Scalia was a great Supreme Court justice. He had strong conservative values, but I do not think President Obama should nominate a successor for him. And let me tell you why. There's an 80-year precedent of not nominating and then confirming a Supreme Court justice in the same year. Right now, the Supreme Court is tied between conservatives and liberals. If Obama was up to appoint one more Supreme Court justice, it could wreak havoc on the rest of the country. We could have liberal values imposed upon our nation, and that is not something that anybody here wants. Thank you.
Mr. Trump? Well, I do the challenge last, but I can speak just one more time, because I think that's important to the people. With that being said, President Obama is debatably the greatest president in American history. I agree with you, Mr. Bush. However, this man's own mother doesn't even think he's suitable for the race she set herself. So it's honestly got to a point where we just need to get him off the stage and let's focus on some of the people who are bringing real politics and a good understanding of what you, the American voters, want. Thank you.
Real politics. Let me understand this. You think building a wall that is going to cost $9 trillion and you're going to have Mexico pay for it, you think that's a real policy? I say no. I say these people don't need more debt. They need realistic solutions. Thank you.
That concludes our round of questioning. Thank you to the candidates for an informative and entertaining round of questioning. And
I would like you to give a round of applause for our candidates. Ladies and gentlemen. Voters, why do we vote? It's because you have an interest. And I know this for you. There's people out there that are your opponents. If by you not voting, it's going to let them win. If by not voting, you really say you're not important. Okay, you're not important. The next time you stand in line at a store, or the next time you stand in line at Starbucks, Mr. Walker and I are going to cut in front of you. Because you're not important. You vote because you have interest.